Little Latin flavor because we have the hot sauce here.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Jillette. My name is Michael Godot. Matt Donnelly. Penn and I are broadcasting from Show Creator Studios South in Las Vegas. On today's show, we'll be talking about Buck Henry and probably Groats. 788 people have lost 38,162 pounds. Godot does a juggling show with 20 other jugglers and 20 Freddie Mercury impersonators. I didn't tell you about that part. Here he is, peace and love, Mr. Penn Jillette.
What do you think? What do you think? This has been bothering me now for 2 years, and it just came to me that I'm going to actually talk about it.
Okay.
First words that people hear when they turn into Penn Sunday School is Michael Godot, or sometimes Matt Donnelly, and occasionally Reddy Rich, and once me, saying brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Now, we have folks who are non-binary, who don't feel they're covered by either brothers or sisters. Can we add, do we have to subtract brothers and sisters? Do we have to go to Congregationalists, congruents?
Brothers, sisters, and anyone else?
What's that?
Is this because of last week's show?
No, what happened last week?
I did bring dings and glip globs.
Oh, I didn't know that. What's that? What are those words?
I thought if I was going to be using silly words, I should just make it clear to everybody.
I see. What do we think about that?
It's interesting, part of changing is letting go of the past. It's like Brothers and Sisters is certainly almost a parody in some regard.
Yes, it is doing the church service.
Yeah. It's our way of being churchy. But
you want to weigh in on this, Jera? Where's Jera? She's the youngest. She has a much better sense of what's proper on this. What do you think of this, Jera? What should we do instead of brothers and sisters?
Is siblings not an option?
Siblings.
Siblings.
Brothers, sisters, and other siblings.
Yeah.
Ah! Okay, everything's all right. You lean against the light switch.
All right, got it. Brothers and sisters and other siblings.
And any siblings. Brothers, sisters, and other siblings. We'll do that, and I'll feel better.
Any or other?
How about brothers, sisters, and siblings?
Brothers, sisters, and siblings.
Got it.
Yeah. Does that seem good to you?
We want to test it? Did we just start over?
So I think other siblings sounds weird to me.
It does. Brothers, sisters, and siblings.
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters, siblings.
Welcome to Penn
So
Sunday
it's
School.
not
not even
not even an or and. Just brothers, sisters, siblings. Welcome to Penn Sunday School. Could you play the opening again? Let's see how we won't do the whole thing. Let's just see how it sounds if we have that whole thing together there.
This is Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha. No, that's the end.
You're getting way ahead of yourself.
Screwed this up all entirely. Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School. Starring
Really
Penn.
nice.
That's really
nice.
That's the
Okay,
one.
that's solved. That's been a little rock in my shoe.
All right.
I like it.
Which is another thing you can say when you've got when you only got one leg and someone compliments you on the new pair of kicks you got. You can say, "Well, I'm rocking my shoe."
I have a problem with that joke.
What are you doing over there, Reddy Rich?
He's tasting hot sauce?
Sucking down hot peppers?
Yep.
We're considering tomato juice with some hot sauce that doesn't have salt in it,
Okay.
but some vinegar.
We should pass that around.
Okay.
As long as we're making changes to the show.
Vinegar's okay, though, right?
Vinegar's really good. Vinegar's
good.
It's salt we want to stay away from.
Yeah.
Buck Henry, dead.
Yeah.
What's that about?
All my contact with Buck Henry, this is not true. A lot of my contact with Buck Henry was associated with the porn world.
Was he out of SNL by the time you got there? I know he did the first 5 years, I guess.
Oh yeah, well we weren't in SNL till it sucked
Okay.
in the 80s. But we were on the year that's considered by everybody to be the worst year.
Nice.
Randy Quaid that year, remember that
Iron
year?
Man was there, yeah?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., the other one.
Gilbert. Was Gilbert on that year?
No.
Okay.
No, there's really no. It was awful. It was Sam Kennison, and we alternated with Sam Kennison every week. That's the way they were doing it then. They don't do that anymore.
No, I mean, even actually when I read up on Buck Henry, by read up, I mean an article.
Buck Henry research.
Or what the kids would call a deep dive. He was considered an offbeat selection for the host, but that's what they were doing then. They were trying to find people that were not necessarily your typical host.
Right. They don't do that anymore.
No.
He was a lot older than the other cast members.
Yeah. But Buck Henry, the first time I met him, I may have told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. I went to, before the porn awards, the AVNs were in Las Vegas. They were in Santa Monica, out on the pier in a tent. Okay? And I went there as Al Goldstein's date.
Oh, nice.
Al Goldstein, the editor of Screw Magazine, who, Ratso and I took care of later in his life. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but there is one, if you're a magazine collector, okay?
Yeah.
And you have every issue of National Geographic that has ever come out,
yeah.
You know what that's worth? Jack shit.
Right.
Nothing. But Jugs magazine, the magazine for, large-breasted, every issue of that is worth like a ton. Because, the stuff that's valuable is the stuff that no one saved.
Right.
So if you want a complete issue. So there is one.
Especially if it's in good condition. I'm sure you can find them in bad condition.
One slightly used. One complete bound collection of every Screw magazine.
Yeah.
Screw was a sex newspaper that was arrested, Supreme Court cases. There is one copy of it in existence of everything that Screw ever put out that's bound and in perfect condition. It is owned by Mr. Penn.
Wow.
But I always talk to my wife about where we can keep it. It's in a storage unit now, but
it's not underneath your mattress.
We have children.
It's very hard to
So
keep.
if we had that in our home, it's possible that, other children wouldn't be able to come visit us,
It's really hard to give the birds and bees and Supreme Court speech to the kids nowadays,
So it's not available, but I have it because Al Goldstein wanted to show his the help that Ratso and I
would pre-parent Penn be like, whatever, if I have kids, they should know about this being free speech and that kind of a thing.
They have yes, they have a copy of the what's it called, Hedro, the magazine out of Paris where the people were killed by terrorists.
Charlie Hebdo.
Charlie Hebdo. How's it pronounced?
I thought it was Hebdo.
Hebdo, I think.
Hebdo. Anyway, we have
Just Sweet Charlie.
Just Sweet Charlie. They have both copies of that up in their playroom, and I am not bothered by Screw being around. No one should be, because if your children have access to the internet, they have access to everything. Mm. But I'm afraid that it might affect their social life in some way. One child saying that was at the Gillette house might have other parents, and I don't want them to be ostracized. I don't want children to not be allowed to come by. I also don't know if pre-children Penn would have it because it's so big. I mean, it's 40 years of a weekly newspaper.
Holy.
So what's 40 times 52? Big number.
Oh, man.
20,000.
What's that?
20,000, 21,000.
I don't even know. I just know that it's
no.
2080.
Yeah, that's what I said. 2080.
So it's several. It's a couple pallets.
Right.
So you would take up a room of a house.
He claimed it was a gift anyway.
So
don't pick this up.
Al Goldstein invited me to the porn awards, and we were at rounds, as we say in the convention business, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember one of the funniest things I have ever heard said was Gina Fine who was very well known in the 80s for oral sex technique. I'd met her, and not really a close friend, but I knew her a little bit. And she was standing, I was waiting in line at the bar to get a club soda. And she said, "Who do you have to blow to get a drink around here?" And it made me laugh. No one would be better to say that than Gina Fine. So I'm sitting at the table, and sitting next to me is Carrie Fisher, right? And sitting next to Carrie Fisher is Buck Henry. So that's the table. And I am in awe
Good group, yeah.
of Carrie Fisher and Buck Henry. But I just sat down, and we hadn't really been introduced. I mean, Al Goldstein had said, there's Buck, there's Penn, there's Carrie, Penn, But Nina Hartley, another big porn star of the 80s, came up and said to me, "I just got breast implants. What do you think of them, Penn?" I said, "They look very, very nice." She said, "Touch them." So I reached over and I touched Nina Hartley's brand new breast implants. And I said, "Oh, those feel great." Nina Hartley went away. And I turned back to my table, and Carrie Fisher said, "Would you like to feel my breasts? I've been in legitimate features." And I said yes. And that's how I met Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
And Buck Henry was trying to get in on this. I will also report back that Carrie Fisher had very, very nice breasts.
Yeah. You know what's funny? You talk about like the unfortunate nature of
But that's where Buck Henry was.
if there's any kink wins kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like in the article and other like people posting about it, him hanging out with Al Goldstein, Buck Henry hanging out with Al Goldstein, and possibly watching him have sex was mentioned, in a lot of his stuff.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. And I just think like, how many of us in our free time think about sex or go to events hoping sex happens? That wouldn't make it into our obituaries. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make it into our retrospectives. But the fact that there was a kink involved made it like this headlining thing.
Yeah. Buck Henry, he wrote The fucking Graduate.
Yeah.
He also wrote Day of the Dolphin or something. He wrote like nutty stuff. Incredible combination of things.
He wrote on Steve Allen's show. He said the most fascinating thing, I love this. And it was interesting reading an article about him writing for stuff.
I did read the same article, I believe.
Yeah.
Now that we're hitting all the same points on it.
That they put in dummy words for punchlines in rehearsals. They didn't actually say the punchlines in rehearsals because they wanted the band
Yeah, the
to hear
band's
it fresh
reaction was important to them.
when they taped, and it made a difference to them hearing it versus not hearing it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's really amazing.
Because I've been a part of so many projects where all of a sudden you write the first good joke and that joke gets repeated all throughout rehearsals and stuff, and then you get complimented on the joke before you tape it and stuff. And like by the time it goes to record, it's just lands.
Yeah, a lot of times those are replaced. The best jokes in the script are replaced. People are sick of them.
Yeah. So that was interesting about him writing The Graduate is, back then you didn't do a lot of improvisation or do weird takes or a couple extra things. It was expensive and hard to organize in editing. And so him going over his lines and how he wrote certain jokes for The Graduate and stuff and how he made sure to keep it fresh or whatever. And he talked about like having a joke but keeping it until they were going to tape and things like that. So it'd be really funny. It was really interesting to have someone with that kind of know-how.
Well, having told the Carrie Fisher breast story, I should say that as amazing an experience that was, touching Carrie Fisher's breast, meeting Buck Henry was a bigger deal.
Right.
I mean,
it's just not as fun to tell.
What more can I say than that?
Right.
Yeah.
What more can I say than that?
Yeah.
Right. Well, the people that envy you for meeting Buck Henry is a smaller diagram, the Venn diagram.
Well, see, I got in
Than
real
you
trouble for
touching
this.
Carrie
Okay.
Fisher.
I was, Debbie Reynolds had a hotel here.
Yes.
I shouldn't tell this story because last time I told it, I got in huge trouble. And now I'm doing it again.
Something about that Penn is he learns his lessons.
Debbie Reynolds had a casino here.
Right.
Debbie Reynolds Casino.
I know. I've been there when she was vacuuming.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I went to Debbie Reynolds Casino with Carrie Fisher. Carrie took me, let's go to my mom's casino. So Carrie Fisher and I walked in, and Carrie Fisher was as funny a nut as you have ever met. Carrie Fisher was incredible. She would send me all the time. She would find fan fiction Star Wars porn where people had altered pictures of her having sex with Jedis. And she would send those pictures to me every day. Whatever they had that was perverse Carrie Fisher stuff, she would send to me.
Yeah.
Right? With her with the cinnamon buns on the side of her head and stuff. And so Carrie, Debbie Reynolds, Carrie Fisher, me, we are sitting backstage at Debbie Reynolds' casino. And Carrie Fisher says, Penn tells a good story. I like the way he tells stories. And I think he should have a story about feeling up Debbie Reynolds, don't you? And Debbie went, sure. And she said, don't you think you should be someone who feels up Debbie Reynolds and talks about it? I said, sure. So Debbie Reynolds said, oh, okay. And then she reaches down the front of her shirt and goes, do the left one. Okay. So then her brother comes in. I think his name is Todd, right? Todd comes in and Carrie goes, come over here. Ben, feel up my brother too. So we have the complete set. Okay. So we're all laughing about that, right?
Yeah.
So Carrie told me to do it so I'd have a story to tell. It wasn't like, don't tell anybody you did this.
Yeah.
And I don't need to add to this. And it wasn't sexual. It was a joke, right?
Yeah.
So like 2 days later, I'm doing morning radio somewhere like in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Right. And the guy says to me, the morning DJ says to me, you always have good stories. Tell us a story. So appropriate language for drive time. I tell the feeling up Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher story. Would want to feel my breasts. I've been in legitimate features, and then followed with the Debbie Reynolds story. Oh man, the phones just light up, and people are saying, "Get him off the radio." That's the most disgusting person I've ever had. First of all, to lie about Debbie Reynolds that way.
Oh,
Debbie was a beloved figure. I mean,
Sure.
if there was a America's sweetheart, it was Debbie Reynolds.
Sure.
If anyone actually had claim to that, it would be Debbie Reynolds.
Sure.
It's all right. You're dealing with someone. Carrie Fisher was never going to get credit for being a hilarious hang, and she was, right?
She was.
Because she was too beautiful, and she's a woman, and all the other stuff. And what you were doing, if it was two guys,
Right.
what you're doing is a bit with one-upsmanship.
Yeah.
It's a blinking. It's who's going to blink.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And neither is the answer.
Yeah.
And so why not get everybody else involved?
Sure.
Even my mom.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I mean?
Also, Debbie was in show business her entire life.
Yeah.
Debbie was tough. Debbie was not someone that had to be handled with, shall we say, kid gloves.
Yeah. No. But it's funny. Yeah. Just protecting the image of.
Ooh, they did not like it.
Yeah.
They did not like it. And then the DJs reprimanded me during like the commercials. And I don't know, that's going a little far, Penn. You shouldn't say that stuff about Debbie Reynolds. I said, they told me to tell the story. I have Debbie Reynolds' complete permission.
Who would even be the equivalent now? I'm trying to think of if you have a story that like, you're like, no, don't you dare.
Juice Newton. No, there's not.
No. Marie Osmond?
anyone.
I don't know.
Marie Osmond.
Yeah.
Marie Osmond.
Yeah.
If I had a story of feeling up Marie Osmond, people would get upset, I think.
I think so.
Donnie, not so much.
We said get Donnie too. That'd be part of the bit.
Yeah. Exactly. But also I would tell you, I guess I shouldn't say this, but it doesn't seem like this would be the end of the world for Marie. Marie could make that joke.
Yeah.
She's funny, but you've been backstage with me, Marie.
Yes.
I don't watch what I say because she's
No, you don't.
No, not at all. And it's not like they go, "Oh my goodness, we're Mormons. You can't talk." You can't talk about us that way.
No, I thought
they
when I was with you backstage with Marie, I thought she was going to get offended.
No,
And
she
cut off
just
the
laughs.
conversation. She didn't.
She just laughs.
She rolled right past it.
It's fine. It means nothing to them.
Which made me love her.
Sure.
know.
These are people that are tough. These are not hothouse flowers.
No.
It's not delicate. Listen, let's talk a little bit about this.
Let's talk about that.
Have you gone to the Fender site?
I have.
Yeah. New Year's resolution you'll actually enjoy sticking to.
I did enjoy it. It's really fun.
Yeah. I had real trouble with the Fender site because you can click on what instrument you want to learn.
Yes.
I want to brush up on my electric bass playing because I play upright acoustic. I want to brush up my electric bass playing. I love to play guitar. I wanted to learn more chords. And because of Chinese team, I wanted to learn ukulele.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I really was like everything they had there I wanted to learn. And boy, the lessons are really good.
They're good. They're quick. They're fun.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by Fender Play.
Yes.
Fender Play is what it's called. Fender Play is the complete online learning platform for guitar, bass, and ukulele. All three things Penn has played and wants to play more and better. With Fender Play, you can play your first song in just minutes with short, easy-to-follow lessons taught by experienced instructors. It's really true. It's really good. Do you play the instrument, Matt?
No, I mean, I taught, did my own YouTube courses for guitar unsuccessfully. And so I can strum like 3 chords.
Oh, this is better.
Yeah.
Also, you'd be good with ukulele. It would be a useful little tool for you to have.
Also,
so.
3 is all you need.
What's that?
Also, 3 is all you need.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, I have DAG, which means I have like half of all music.
3 chords and the truth. What makes it different? Fender Play features a step-by-step song-driven learning path tailored to your music taste and built around your schedule, all from your home tablet or computer. With a Fender Play membership, you can master chords, songs, and techniques at your own pace with bite-sized lessons you can watch anywhere, anytime, track your progress in an app so you can pick up where you left off, share your success, and get support from instructors in Fender's exclusive online community. Get unlimited access to hundreds of lessons and features for an entire year, all for less than the average cost of one traditional music lesson. It's so good.
It is.
And it's like learning a language.
Yeah.
The way you learn any instrument is every way you possibly can. And this just puts so much of it together. We have an incredible deal for our listeners. New members can try Fender Play free for 2 weeks. What?
2 weeks.
Free for 2 weeks and save 50% off a Fender Play annual plan. But the only way you can take advantage of this offer is by going to fender.com/podcast. That's fender.com/podcast. And be sure to use our special offer code
Penn
at checkout. That's fender.com/podcast. This offer is only available for a limited time and ends on Monday, January 20th at midnight Pacific time. So act fast. Really, just go do it. Again, visit Fender, Fender, fender.com/podcast and use our special offer code
Ben.
to try it free. Save 50% and start learning today. And we thank Fender Play for sponsoring this podcast. It's a great thing.
Third song you learn, Bad Moon Rising on ukulele.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5, Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash. Come on.
Speaking of which, do you guys watch the country western thing, Ken Burns? Country music?
I haven't.
16 hours.
Yeah.
16 hours of country music. And it's very clearly slanted rock snob.
Oh, yeah?
So clearly slanted. Bob Dylan's in it a lot.
Oh, hilarious.
Of course, it's all Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
Hank Williams, Dolly Parton. And I'll tell you, at the end of that, it's 16 hours.
Yeah.
16 hours, and it is so, so good. And, I've met Johnny Cash, Garth Brooks, Dolly Parton, and I'm so proud to have met them. And Johnny Cash just comes off as fabulous as he was. And also crazy, crazy stories. But the one that's the most mind-blowing, I guess this is a very well-known story. You know about Dolly Parton and Porter Wagner?
No.
Well, Porter Wagner show, the Porter Wagner Show, right? And that was pretty successful in the 80s, maybe late 70s, right? And he brought on a young girl singer, this cute little girl, and that was Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton, for everything else she is a fabulous songwriter.
Right.
I mean, Jolene, whoop. I mean, just fabulous songwriter. And she would come on every week and do a little Dolly Parton number, playing her guitar, singing her heart out, and doing songs she wrote. And she was getting very, very popular. And Porter Wagner produced all her records, and Porter Wagner was her mentor. And she said she would stay 5 years and then she would split. And Porter Wagner did not want her to leave. And come year 6, he didn't want her to leave. Come year 7, he didn't want her to leave. And it was getting contentious.
Oh.
And Dolly wanted to go off on her own and be the superstar she was. And Porter Wagner needed her on his show and also loved her. And if you've met Dolly Parton for even 2 minutes,
Right.
you love her.
Yeah.
I mean, she may be one of the greatest people. I mean, Tom Jones, Dolly Parton, those are the only inspirations you need in life, you know.
Yeah.
So Dolly couldn't convince Porter Wagner to let her go. He wouldn't, there was going to be lawyers involved. It was going to be really unpleasant. And Dolly Parton went home, and talk about inspirational. She said, you know, what I do is write songs. And I'm trying to communicate where I'm going to be with Porter Wagner, and I can't get through to him. And I don't want to fight with him. I don't want to argue. She wrote a song for him. And she wrote, I Will Always Love You.
Yeah, it's about her professional break with Wagner.
Her biggest hit.
Oh my God.
And she went in the next day and said to Porter, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I've written a song for you. And then she sat in his office, pulled out her guitar, and sang for the first time, I Will Always Love You, to Porter Wagner's face.
Holy.
And he said, let me produce that record as my last record produced for you, and then go off on your own.
And you do whatever you want.
She produced it. It was his most successful production.
Yeah.
It was her most successful record. It went on, of course, to be one of the biggest selling songs of all time, covered by Whitney Houston.
Right.
Went on like that. That's what she did. Holy shit.
That is crazy.
Holy shit.
She's also Miley Cyrus's godmother or something like that. And, you know, people were saying when she was doing racquetball stuff, what don't you have some advice for her? Can't you just calm her down? She said, what advice am I going to give her? She is kicking my butt.
Yeah.
So cool. So smart.
The blowback on Miley Cyrus was always so dumb. It was so clear that she was understanding of everything that she was doing.
Yeah. And having Dolly Parton just confirm that, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Dolly Parton, first of all, is the height of this water bottle. She's under 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
She is, there's nothing else in the room when she's there. When I met Dolly Parton, I was in a room with Dustin Hoffman, Barbara Streisand. I'm trying to think who else. A ton of people.
And you felt up Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, I felt up Dustin Hoffman. I am not man enough to feel up Dolly Parton. And not person enough. And I talked to Dolly for maybe 25 minutes. And I was in the presence of greatness.
Yeah.
I mean, and in the country music special, the pictures of her, John Belushi, Andy Warhol. I mean, we tend to think that Dolly Parton got respected later. No. Very early on, everybody knew she was great.
Yeah.
She was just great.
Fantastic.
And Johnny Cash, you know, and it's a really, and Marty Stewart, Bill Monroe, Hank Williams. You know, I've always been, because I was a rock snob, I've always known the parts of country music you have to know. You know, I've always known Johnny Cash and Hank Williams and all that. But getting it, you know, Jimmy Rogers and going way back, and getting that all filled in, it's really good. I guess I've been told it got mediocre reviews because compared to like Vietnam and World War II, it wasn't, you know.
Oh, fluff. It's too much fluff.
But it's really good. And also, you don't want to grow up as one of 11 children in a single room with no running water and no heat, which is what they all did.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Cash with scars on his hands from picking cotton.
Yeah.
I mean, these are hard lives. And also, you can't get crazier. I mean, rock and roll, it's like Guns N' Roses, don't make me laugh.
No, I mean, because I was listening to the one season of Cocaine and Rhinestones podcast with David Allan Coe's kid.
Yeah.
But we tend to politicize country music, you know, that it's on the right of politics and that kind of stuff. And when you look into the history of it, it was, you know, it was more mainstream than rock and roll, but it still had as much, you know, rebellion and
Willie. Willie Whalen.
Yeah.
You know, and the stories about Willie just giving up and going out on Main Street in Nashville in dark clothes and laying down in the middle of the road, waiting for someone to run him over.
Oh,
A lot of crazy, nutty, you know, George Jones.
yeah.
You can't get crazier than that. And, you know, Tammy Wynette. And it's just, he did a really good job. It's really well written and beautifully done. And some of the performances are really, really great.
Yeah, I got to check it out.
And, you know, Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
You know, Garth Brooks, whose taste is pretty far from mine. When I met him, when we did the Hollywood Bowl together, he was just sweet and fabulous to be around. You know, Garth Brooks and I, his mom died very close to the same time my mom died. You know, my mom died the first day of 2000.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after that, like within a year, that I met Garth Brooks. And we were backstage, a very outspoken atheist and a very devout Christian, talking about how we were dealing with our mom's deaths. And it was amazing that we had everything in common.
Yeah.
And no differences at all.
Yeah.
It was a pretty remarkable thing.
When I moved to Vegas 2008, I couldn't afford to see shows.
Mm-hmm.
And Garth Brooks was still here, and Rickles was playing the Orleans a lot at that time as well. I didn't get to see Rickles.
man.
I never got to see Rickles. I never got to see Garth Brooks.
I saw the Garth Brooks show,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of rhetorical questions that I wanted to answer. Does anybody have any idea what American Pie is about? I mean, what is that? And the gesture played for the king and queen. I had my hand up. I believe I can lay it all out for you, Garth, right here. He also talked about Dylan being one of the great songwriters, but you know, some of the stuff in his songs have no you have no idea what he's talking about. Well, I do, Garth. I can fill you in on that. And then he sat there going, and probably the best piano player of any kind that ever lived was Billy Joel. Now I was going to raise my hand and go, you know who would disagree with you very strongly on that? Billy Joel. Billy Joel knows exactly how good he is.
Oh, yeah.
Great performer, great songwriter, okay piano player.
Yeah.
But he's not banging up Rachmaninoff sight reading it.
No.
He's not. And there are people that, you know, sight read.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's people like Oscar Peterson.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, I think Billy Joel, I've never met Billy Joel, but I'm guessing, being from Jersey, I'm guessing if
He's
you
a
said
Long Island guy, isn't he?
Long Island, he's in Long Island?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Billy Joel, if you said to him, how much better are you than Oscar Peterson at piano? But Garth's show was really nice.
Yeah.
Garth's show was really nice.
Billy, if you're listening, come on in, buddy. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but we'll have you on anytime, Billy. Or Garth. Actually, Billy and Garth together with Billy Joel setting Garth straight, going, Garth, thank you.
Stop it, though.
Thank you.
Maybe the whole show could be just setting Garth straight.
Yeah, just on everything.
On everything.
Yeah, we'll bring Garth on and just tell him, you got some questions, Garth. We got some answers.
Yeah, we've got it. We've assembled a crew.
We have the questions you have. We have answers to.
Yeah.
For technical piano playing, we got a guy. For Dylan, I'm a guy.
And then we can just let dueling piano players come in and scream at him for writing "I've got friends in lonely places" or friends in low places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got friends in low places.
Actually, we could probably get Don McLean in to explain American Pie to Garth Brooks. If we called up Don McLean and said, you know, we got Garth Brooks coming on,
Yeah.
would you come on and explain American Pie to him? I've got a feeling we're going to get a yes. We could fly. So Garth, if you're listening, we'll answer all your questions.
Yeah.
But I mean, saying that Billy Joel is the best piano player living is a little like saying I'm the best juggler in the world, right?
Yeah.
Actually, he's a better piano player than I'm a juggler.
I suspect, yeah.
Yeah, but there are better piano players than there are jugglers too.
It's kind of just like bad research, really. It's like the guy who wrote Piano Man is probably the best piano man. You know, it's like if you ask me any hockey trivia, I'm just going to yell Wayne Gretzky, and that's all I got. You know, it's just kind of weak, I think.
And Wayne Gretzky, not much of a piano player at all, right?
No,
Not to our knowledge.
no.
Not much.
But he has recently got on a Fender site, and he's getting pretty good at ukulele.
Wayne Gretzky's ukulele. Well, what about Tim? Could you also mention Tim Horton for hockey?
Oh, is he originally a hockey player?
Yes.
I just know him as a donut shop.
Yeah, he's a coffee guy. in my
Again,
book.
I do as much research as Garth Brooks.
coffee.
Isn't Tim Horton was a hockey superstar, right? Am I wrong about this? I don't think so. Anyway, Godot.
Tim Horton.
Between the four of us, we've only seen the one Garth Brooks show, right?
Yeah.
You have seen him at all?
No.
I've seen him twice. Some at the Hollywood Bowl. You know what I'll tell you about Garth Brooks? I'll tell you a few things about Garth Brooks. One, Garth Brooks, we played the Hollywood Bowl. We had great seats. Garth Brooks did not make eye contact once. Garth Brooks plays to the back of the theater.
Right.
He only cares about the people in the cheap seats. It's really wonderful. Also, I was told on very good authority that when Garth Brooks is going in for sound check and stuff, he pushes boxes up the ramps. He unloads amps and stuff.
Nice.
You know, not heavy, but he hangs out with the crew. Does it? What do you got? You got Tim Horton?
Tim Horton,
I have the Tim Horton hockey player.
Canadian professional hockey player.
I don't know where it goes in. Oh, yep, Donut Industries. It is the same guy.
Of course it is.
Those are pretty much the same skills, though, hockey and donuts.
You were a hockey player, right?
That's right. I'm very good at making donuts.
Yeah.
Just comes naturally.
Here's my question. How do you know Garth Brooks doesn't have the same rules that Penn Sunday School does?
What do you mean?
We're wrong about everything.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Garth Brooks, yes.
Have you seen
Maybe
the show
Garth
enough times
Brooks
yet?
How I'm trying to think of the amount of hockey players ranked. If you took the top 10, how far do you go down before they trade checking accounts with Tim Horton?
Tim Horton.
Is Tim Horton alive? No.
No, he died in 1974.
Wow. Long dead Tim Horton.
One of the 100 greatest NHL players in history.
Still.
But he played a long time ago, so he probably only made $40.
And what are there's positions in hockey?
There are positions.
Was he like a goalie?
He was
or
a
something?
defenseman, so not a goalie.
Right, but that's still defense. Goalie's
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that much about hockey.
Very good.
What position do you play?
I was a center or left wing.
And how are you compared to Tim Horton?
For donuts or for hockey?
I think you come
Because
up short.
I didn't make the top 100 NFL players.
You didn't.
No.
You said
Or
NFL,
or
NHL.
donut, NHL. I didn't make it in the donut world either. So.
But Godot's
Although
funny-
Good O's is a good name for a donut place.
Kudos?
Yeah.
It is. Kudos Donuts. You don't spell either right. That's what it would say out there.
Yeah.
Oh, donuts with the
Golf nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos Donuts. And then it would say underneath it, not Godot's Donuts. G-O-D-O-T, D-O-N-U-T.
I think-
Not that.
You just do good donuts.
Good Donuts.
And then everyone says, "Oh, I thought my whole life I thought it was good donuts, and I never read this line."
It's Good Donuts.
Yeah, it's good donuts.
It's Good Donuts.
Yeah.
We're looking for investors.
Yeah. Good Donuts is good.
We're looking for investors right now.
Okay, tell me about this show you did with Puerto
I
Rico.
did it. Yeah. And Sarah was like our handler.
Oh, that's true.
That is, yeah, you thought I made that up. In case anyone thought I was lying about doing a show. I did a show
Forgot
with
about the
20
show.
other jugglers.
What?
20
What
jugglers.
madness is this?
I know. It didn't make any sense to me either, but probably 22, 24 jugglers all ran out in the middle of a convention. And
Where? What kind of convention?
it was for employees of Amazon.
Okay.
And so it was a big, huge event here. And then late at night, they were having this party. And to liven up the party, they had different groups of people run out at different times and do stuff. So, like I said, 24 Freddie Mercury impersonators ran out there and did their bit. And then a few minutes later, 24 jugglers ran out there. You know what the cool thing about juggling is? And this is, there were...
I'm dying to hear what the cool thing about juggling is. I'm dying
is
to hear this.
Finally.
'Cause I'm
You're
trying
going
to
with
find
it.
out.
You right now can say that. But in a minute, you're going to go, oh, Yeah. There were 8 women out of the 24 jugglers, and they were all fantastic jugglers. They were great jugglers. Our numbers are better than the magicians, I think.
By a lot.
By a lot.
And
out of 24, there were 8 women there, and they were all great jugglers.
Probably better than Hollywood.
Yeah. It was really impressive.
Yeah.
I was really happy to see it, and it was great.
Okay, you're right.
It's a great thing. I know. Who knew?
Now, were you doing your act? Did you just run out and
just running out and juggling. Running out and juggling. So they gave me, I took, 4 jugglers with me and taught them a club passing routine. They were all skilled club passers, and we put together a routine and then ran out there and juggled for like 4 or 5 minutes and then ran
Were you
back
on a
up.
stage?
No. Just on a convention floor.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And there were 24 Freddie Mercury impersonators?
Yeah.
That's 4 more than I would think exist.
Yeah. Well, and the great part was that they weren't Freddie Mercury impersonators. They just they had hired you and put you in the Freddie Mercury
I
outfit,
see.
and then you ran out there and sang along to a Freddie Mercury song, and then ran back. It was great.
What other?
I thought you'd comb the internet looking for Freddie Mercury impersonators and flew
Now,
them all
probably
in.
started there, and then went, this ain't going to work, is it?
Well, we now have collective nouns. It's not a gaggle of Freddie Mercury. What is it?
Oh, it would be a
festering.
A crown jewels.
a fandango.
A fandango. That's a good answer.
What is it of jugglers?
A ne'er-do-well, I think. Isn't that the...
Now, it was just Freddie Mercury and jugglers?
No.
There was only those
there were
two.
also a set of dancers. There were a set of
Dancers,
dancers
And what was your wife doing there?
She was stage managing.
Yeah, she was wrangling.
Yeah.
You jugglers, go stand over there. Stop bugging everybody. Quit touching stuff. You're breaking shit. Get out of here.
Yeah.
At one point, I heard her shouting at some folks going, I told you none of the dancers could be over here. That's why I said it. I don't know what it was. Well, I don't know what had happened, but something had happened, and Sarah was fixing it.
Were there any Ramones impersonators?
There were no Ramones impersonators.
24 of them?
No.
Oh, that's right. That was
would have been better.
That was the Ramones hour, right? Was the 24 hours, the last 24 hours of 2019. Because in I Want to Be Sedated, 24 hours to go. I want to be sedated. Right, 2020.
Oh.
24 hours to go. 2020, 24 hours to go.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. Works out perfectly.
Yeah.
It was Ramones hour the night before there.
Why didn't we have that party? We missed that.
Yeah, I know. We should have had. That should have been the
We all
party.
drank water out of beer bottles.
Yeah, they did that.
I know. I love that story.
Yeah, they did that. Water out of beer bottles.
Yeah.
Now, Godot.
Yeah.
You just told a story that I don't think you told it off the air. I don't think it's ever happened to me. I don't know if it ever happened to Matt Donnelly. You had people decide to pay you more money?
Yeah. I don't want to say what the gig was, but I did some shows this weekend, and at the end of the first day, they came back and went, you and this other guy are really doing a lot more than we expected. We're gonna send you guys some more money.
Were you like fixing cars?
No, I know. Hired to do shows.
You know what you
this weekend, and
you fixed the refrigerator.
Really,
you got our printer to work, so we're going to give you a little money for that.
Yes. Yeah, it was they just were surprised by the level of skill that we.
Did they come through with the money?
They haven't yet.
Okay.
They gave us checks at the end of the gig and went, and we're sending you more.
I don't know.
Waiters'
rules are if you ever bring up the tip before the tip comes,
you're never
getting a good tip.
Is that true?
Yeah.
What is the rule?
If someone says oh, you're doing a great job, or oh, this is going good, I'll make sure this reflected in the tip. Anytime we get compliments or that people talk about the tip, if the tip is mentioned at all before the tipping takes place, you're going to get a shit tip.
Or there any?
But this was not really. I mean, a tip. I've gotten tips for gigs. They usually cash.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody say, we're going to mail you a check for more money in a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, who would you say? Now, I never had a waiter job, so I don't know about this. But were there tables that when a kind of person came to that table, you knew it was going to be a great tip?
Oh, I mean, you always kind of had feelings one way or the other about it. But yeah.
Was it?
But that's just typical stuff.
Was your predictive quality pretty good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my buddy AJ, will tell you that he will not ever tip after the fact. He only tips before. He will only tip before. He said, why would you ever tip after? You want to tip before so you know you're going to get good service.
That's smart thinking.
So he would go into a restaurant and he would, depending on the level of restaurant, but usually he would take a $20 bill, right? And he'd try to do the origami thing.
Yeah.
To see if it would, to make a ring out of the origami. And he would take a $20 bill and he would call our server over and say, I only saw him do this with women. I don't know if it was the same with men.
Yeah.
And he would say, I want to see if I can, let me just see if I can do this. Let me see if I can hit your finger size. He would fold it up in front of her and slide it on her finger and go, there, that's for you. Great. And when you were with AJ, you always get great service.
Yeah, that would definitely get, if I was tipped $20 ahead of time while I was waitering, I would definitely make sure I was taking care of you the best, for sure.
Did you find that how good you were was reflected with the tip at all? Because I just tip 25% right across the board, 25, maybe sometimes 30, I guess.
Yeah.
Right across the board, and service makes no difference. As a matter of fact, if I would get a really, really rude cab driver or something,
Yeah.
I would tip more just as some sort of weird, perverse thing that I do. But I've never, ever punished somebody with a bad tip. Never.
No.
Never.
I've tipped 25% and then written bad things to be like, look, I hated that I gave you 20. I know you have to make a living doing this.
You've written bad things?
Yeah.
What'd you write it on? Carved it into the table. Carved it into their back.
Yeah, it's been, honestly, I've chilled out a lot, so it's been a while. I'm trying to remember what I wrote specifically, but
Now that you're preaching love every week, it's a little harder to
it
do.
is harder. And honestly, now that I'm not a food server, it's been so long, I'm not as judgy about it.
Oh, yeah.
But you are constantly juggling priorities. You know, you're constantly reprioritizing. It's just all it is just mental juggling all night long. So if you can pay better attention to a table if they do something better, and it's in terms of general quality of service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I never worked for tips because I was a street performer.
Yeah.
And that's nothing but tips.
Yeah.
But were you ever a server?
No,
You know?
I've never done. No,
Yeah, they wouldn't let us near that kind of stuff.
that's a job. And
How about you, Reddy?
As a server?
Yeah,
Never done it.
never done it. You ever work for tips? As a DJ at a strip club?
Strip club DJ, yeah.
They would tip the DJ? Oh, the dancers would, right?
Right.
Were they required to, or did they just do it?
Depends on the club.
Uh,
They have different rules. Some have a rule about percentage. Some have a rule about the amount of time. So a flat fee for the amount of time.
I see.
The club never pays is really all the rules come down to.
And those compliments and money as a bartender versus a waiter. Same skills, same skill set in terms of mental juggling. People loved me as a bartender, did not love me as a waiter. It's just casting.
Just the way you
Casting.
look. Just the way you
Yeah.
look.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing we learned from AJ was the gum trick. Did you ever see AJ do his gum trick?
No.
AJ has a piece of.
By the way, AJ is a wonderful carny performer. He's actual
And a
carny
great guy.
Great guy.
Love AJ.
Just in case anyone thought we were talking about Amazing Jonathan.
Yeah, we're not. AJ. His name, I don't even know what AJ's name is, but it's impossible to pronounce.
yeah.
Some
Nobody
sort
just
of,
calls him
He spells it out. AYEJAYE.
yeah. He has some sort of Roma name, long Roma name.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead.
He'll walk up to the counter at the airline to pick up his ticket, and he will have he has a little piece of fake gum, and he will walk up to the counter and say hi and put his hands on the counter with his fingers on top and his thumb underneath and start talking, and then all of a sudden just go, oh my God, oh, and look disgusted at his hand and pull out like the gum was stuck to him. And he's just totally grossed out and just can't, like, almost throwing up. And the people behind the counter are like, oh I'm so sorry. And they'll upgrade him to a better seat on the plane.
He doesn't ever fess up that it's...
No, it's fake gum even, which I thought was, that's crazy. Just get a real piece of gum. At least he got... But no, that's one of his That's one
They
of his.
upgrade him.
They upgrade him because they're trying to placate him for his disgusting moment.
Well, we showed him as a really nice guy doing the tip to begin with.
Yeah.
Now we showed him as a scumbag.
It's not only sweet. He's not only sweet. He's also delightful.
Well, you know Tom Mullica's.
Yeah.
We all know Tom Mullica. It's in our book, and you do it all the time, right, Rennie?
Clown nose?
Yeah,
Clown nose, yeah.
Tom Mullica.
I did it for a while, but then after 9/11, I took it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Mullica, before 9/11, used to, on his driver's license, he had
And on his passport.
he had glued a tiny pea-size clown nose to his picture right there. Oh, here we have Ready Riches. There it is. There it is right there, glued right on his nose.
Oh, amazing.
And there's the matcher. Yep. Ready still done.
Yeah, the timing of it is really important.
Well, the timing. So you give them your driver's license.
Yeah.
And they look down at it and they see the clown nose glued on it.
Yeah.
And then when they look back up, you're wearing one.
Yeah, so when they look down, you put yours on.
That's a
so they
really
look at
good
this and they
bit.
go, "What the hell are you?" And then they look up at you and you got it. It's great.
And they laugh.
Really funny.
I should maybe start doing it. My kids are just old enough where I think that would annoy them. So I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah, it's really good on a passport because the passport opens nicely. It's perfect for it. You know, you hand it to them and they open it and they look
You
at
still
it.
do it, Ready Rich?
Yeah. In fact, there's a high turnover rate at the gift shop at my casino. I'm enjoying it pretty much every week right now.
Good. And do they? Does it always bring them delight?
Physical laughter every single time,
Oh, it's
It's a really good gag.
It's good.
especially at the airport.
Tom Mullica, one of the greatest magicians of all time, one of the
Right.
greatest comedians. Tom Mullica did it every time. And Tom Mullica told stories of them just upgrading him to first class because they were laughing so hard. They just loved it. Got very special treatment on that. But Tom Mullica was just so charming that you
Yeah.
just love him no matter. You met him, right?
I met him very briefly. Yeah.
Right at the end of his life.
Yep.
One
At
timing
your
tip.
house.
Was that?
One timing tip is to hand them the credit card forward and the ID backwards.
Oh, so they have to turn it over.
Yeah, it gives you that extra moment to get the nose on.
Get the nose on.
That's good.
So you always have the nose in your right front pants pocket?
In the Dickies pants, there's a flashlight pocket, and I don't know what the outside pocket's for, but I use it for a clown nose
Okay.
on the leg.
Wow. We're even getting like a real a shopping list here.
It's a good gag.
It's a good gag. It's really
I never thought I'd ever do it. And slowly you guys are convincing me to start doing the Mullica.
It's worth doing.
yeah, it's worth doing. You'd like it.
I found if I kept it with the wallet that I would lose the nose like once or twice a month.
Okay.
Oh, because it's coming out in and out
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
pocket. Yeah. Have you ever tried it with a police officer?
Yes,
How'd it go?
physical laughter.
Really?
Yeah.
First, like speeding ticket?
Yeah.
So I'm so scared of that. I'm just so frightened of that.
Me too. Also, just any move to my pocket while I hand him something, I think
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bad idea.
Yeah, any subterfuge.
The worst experience that I've ever had is a TSA agent just flicking it off with his thumbnail.
Yeah.
He thought it was junk,
Oh, okay.
like pocket lint or something.
And then you still have the nose on?
And I had the nose on when he looked up, and he just kind of scowled at me.
Oh. It would have been funny if you just flicked the nose off. But it's perfect sympathetic magic. I mean, that's what it is. It's really working voodoo. It's like, this could be your thing as a magician there.
Yeah.
You could always have that. It's like Lance Burton carrying the Funkin' ring.
Yeah, the Funkin' Ring was great. That's a
Did
good
we
one
carry
too.
that with him?
Carried with the Funkin' ring with him
Yeah,
all the
for a
time.
year.
For those who don't know, Funkin' ring is a little spark generator.
Yeah.
That you wind
Wind
up
up thing.
and you go and it generates sparks. And you can carry it with you wound up. And then when you get on an elevator, you touch the button and
What floor are you folks riding to? 6? And sparks shoot out of your hand, and it's really easy to hide it. And
That's a good bit.
it's a good gig.
it's hard to get a good Funkin' ring now, though.
It is.
It has always been hard to get a good Funkin' Ring. I just want to mention that now. I know we have a fondness for those $8 metal ones, but they didn't work any longer than the $1 plastic ones. They
None
still
of
only
them
work for
long.
3 or 4
But now they make
rounds.
them battery powered.
They do have some battery powered ones
Those are
that'll
terrible.
run for
They're
really
huge.
and they're $80. So
Yeah.
now I like the $1 flesh tone plastic one. Pretty good.
It's kind of fallen out of favor since the Great White thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So has all torch juggling.
all just general pyro driven
Yeah.
bits.
Yeah.
Well, you know something? I think we covered a shopping list for somebody who listens to this show is going to take a little piece of foam, put on their driver's license, and get a clown nose and have a lot of fun with that. Don't you think?
I hope so.
I think that you've got something useful out of this show. And also, maybe Billy Joel is the greatest piano player. We don't know. But at any rate, that was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha-cha-cha.
And to our listening
You become naked.
nature sang and round us rang the music of the spheres. That was
So,
Sunday School.
in a contract negotiation that's really contentious, you go home and you write a comedy bit or you write a magic trick and come in and say, I did this for you. That's Dolly Parton. How do you do that? How do you do that smart and that talented? And that guileless, but still successful?
Yeah.
The best.
And if you wrote that not knowing the true story, you'd be like, oh, that'd be such a bullshit movie thing to do.
No one ever.
You could never do that.
It's like feeling up Debbie Reynolds.
That's total.
You know, maybe Garth Brooks hangs out with Billy Joel more than us, and Billy's been practicing in the last few years.
Maybe he's sight reading Rachmaninoff. What do I know?
Wait, you didn't say you know I love you.
You know I love you. I should say that twice. You know I love you. I honestly love you. I will always love you.